Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we review a title that will probably get us in trouble, but we're doing it anyway. The film is called P RNO, and it's streaming on Shudder. And yes, it is a horror film, and it's going to be a lot of fun to discuss. But before we get into our review, let me introduce the crew, starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Classic rock, Jeff.
Yes.
Classic rock.
Well, I just couldn't put hard heavy metal, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't fit? Not enough room.
It's not me.
Yeah. All right.
And you guys wouldn't know it. You guys.
All right. Fair
so anyway, I'm good. My wife's got a pecan pie sitting sitting on the stove that I'm not allowed to touch till tomorrow for some reason.
Pecan pie. All right. Also joining us this week is Crystal Cleveland. She is the living dead girl. How's it going?
It's going great. Actually, I'm going to be making a pecan pie after I get done with this. See, Oliver's so excited about it.
Yes.
See, so the reason why
as she strokes her dog, is it going to have pecans in it or
what?
Or dog?
Where are we going with this? All right. Rounding out the crew tonight is H&R co-host and award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
I just popped in to tell everybody we need to clean up Auditorium 1, please.
Oh my God! You totally missed. Look,
it's a mess. Hey! I'm the assistant manager here.
But I like the white headset with the white glasses and the white shirt. You totally look like you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do they call that? Flash or style or what was that?
Style, pizzazz,
from Clerks.
Glamour.
What movie was it?
Oh, with the pins.
Yeah, you gotta have a certain amount of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have enough. Yeah. Well, this is
my
original. I used to work for Carmike Cinemas.
All right.
And this is actually my vest when I used to work for Carmike Cinemas back then. Actually, I did. During the summers, I worked in a movie theater in the 90s when this film that we're about to review took place. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I worked in
a lot of
theaters too in 1970.
1970. Nice.
Were there little birds in the projector?
Yes. Hamsters running in cages.
Wow. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to give our first impressions for the movie P RNO. Then we're going to talk about it a little bit and wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, and our favorite scene. So let's look at the card here. Yes, P RNO. It is playing on Shudder. It says it's a 2019 film, but that's because it went to film festivals. It's 2020 when it's coming out, but you know the drill. It's available November 24th on Shudder. The director is Keola Racela. I have a feeling I mispronounced that. The writer is Matt Black and Laurence Vannicelli. The cast includes, and is not limited to, Evan Daves, Larry Saperstein, Jillian Mueller. The synopsis goes, when five teen employees at a local movie theater in a small Christian town discover a mysterious old film hidden in the basement, they unleash an alluring succubus who gives them a sex education written in blood. Yes. I stumbled over that, but that's what it was. So,
you seem to have a hard time with the word succubus.
I do. I don't know why.
Certain word in the title, maybe.
I don't know. Tongue-tied.
Little suck on your ubus.
Freudian thing.
Ubus? My ubus?
Suck on your ubus.
Oh, it's going to be one of those nights, and it's going to get worse. I'm telling you now, this movie is something special. All right, what we're going to do is give our first impressions, and we're going to start off. We got to go with Crystal first, right? We just kind of have to.
Oh, yeah.
Crystal.
Because I'm the only girl here. And
yeah.
Let me tell you. So I will just start off by saying this movie starts out kind of exactly how you think it would. I knew nothing about this film, but the opening scene is, I think she's riding him. Is she riding him? Is the girl riding him? I don't know if y'all noticed. I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, when
that's
they're
a
looking
po-
through the window.
That's pretty much what I'd expect from that because
Yes.
I didn't know what to expect. However, it's really not that bad. There's really not all that much of it moving forward. It is, however, oh my god. Okay, it started off kind of slow for me just in the very beginning. I guess I was just kind of getting my bearings. I wasn't really certain like what kind of movie it was. Then I started seeing the humor in it, and then I mean, it didn't take long. It was only like 10 minutes in when you start to realize it's very Evil Dead 2-ish. Would you agree, Christopher? I'm sure that's probably, yeah. Has a lot of campy, silly humor. It's gory and bloody, and it has some genitalia attacks a couple times, which are hilarious. I'm sorry.
I
It's
thought
so
you were going to say horrendous because that's what I was thinking.
No. Honestly, it's so funny. But I'm a girl, so it didn't bother me. Um, there's I think. Oh God, I don't even know really. See, Christopher's going to come in and he's going to have this whole long thing, and he's going to describe
Yep.
it so much better than I can. But I will tell you, it's not nearly as scary as it sounds. It's not. Even if you're one of those people that don't like porn, I think you'll like this one because it is funny. It is a lot of gore. It is a lot of humor. It's a lot of cheesy stuff. But it's not overly campy. The One of the characters I love. I'm unfortunately very bad with the names, but the smoking dude. It's a very Christian place that they all work at, and you don't know much about the characters until you see one of them smoking outside. He rushes out, throws the cigarette away, and tells them, "Do you want to smell like an ashtray going to heaven?" And I died. That's
Yep.
basically the point where this movie just had me. I was dead. I was like, "Oh my god, it's so ridiculous." Sorry, Father. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, the character's name was Heavy Metal Jeff.
Heavy Metal
Yes.
Jeff. Yes.
Hence classic rock Jeff.
Yes.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah. He's hilarious. And oh my gosh, I mean, they have a lot of clever little spots in there. His temptation was smoking, not so much the beautiful succubus, but the smoking. So, oh God, I don't want to give anything away, but the moment what she does in front of him, did you notice that there was like a movie poster too that
Yes,
said
yes.
smoke? Yeah, it's so
Smoke 'em if you
clever.
got 'em.
Got him.
Yeah, it's really
Cool.
it has some clever things in it. It's a really well done movie. It's got a lot to it, and parts of it are actually really pretty creepy.
Yeah.
So
It tries
think
to get
that-
there. Is this an art film? I don't know.
it?
I don't know.
No.
No. I mean, that's the dialogue in the film.
Oh,
when
okay,
watching
okay,
the
yeah,
movie.
Okay.
They're asking you if it's art.
Oh. Although the film within the film, I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
That's
did. I thought
that's
it was
the art
cool
film.
too. Yeah.
All right, let's find out what classic rock Jeff thinks. Sir, what's your first impression of porno?
Well, I just looked at my notes, and under first impressions, I put, huh.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
It was kind of fun. I like one of the things I'm really proud of horror because it's sort of at the vanguard of full frontal male nudity and abuse of male sex organs. I mean, I can't tell you how many movies we have
Yeah.
reviewed that strange things don't happen. So,
This has been the year for it.
it goes back farther than that. I mean,
Yeah, but this year's been pretty special.
Yeah.
Night of the Virgin, and what was the Norwegian vampire one was another one, and anyway, we could go on and on. So yeah, that was interesting, and I'm sort of joking, but I'm not, because it's
He's like, I'm bothered.
and I'm not bothered by
Pop,
it at all.
pop.
I think it's a good thing. We have no problem seeing how many women are. Well, I guess we do have some problems sometimes, but it's very frequent for horror movies to have women raped and killed and sliced up and slaughtered and stuff like that. It's kind of nice to see the guys get the abuse here. Seems like equal time. I love the Heavy Metal Jeff. I love that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
it's
good.
so funny. I love it.
He was my favorite character, and I liked the woman assistant manager.
She's a
sh-
traitor.
she's
Chaz. Her
interesting.
name Chaz, yeah, Jillian Mueller.
Chaz, yes, Chastity. But there just were some things that gave me pause. I guess I thought the pacing wasn't.
Oh, no!
Great.
That was
Oliver's still
weird.
alive.
Yeah.
No, that was Christopher. His Bates
Yeah.
Motel sign
Oh.
just
Yeah, so-
fell completely off.
Norman Bates does not like this conversation.
Oh,
I hope it's okay. I'm sorry.
It'll be fine.
I think it was the ghost of Roy Calhoun because it didn't say Motel Hell.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
that's
How dare
Anyway.
you?
I thought there was some
The feud
pacing
is
problems, and I did not like. They would all run off in a group to try to save somebody, and then when they would get there, something would be going on, and they would all stand there and scream through the
Yes.
whole thing.
Yes,
it's fun.
That
I love
bothered me.
that.
That bothered me.
it bothered you. Oh,
It's
man.
so funny.
So
All
I'm done.
right.
I'm done for now.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's bring Christopher G. Mohr into the. Your sign is still in the shot. That's awesome. What's really cool is, and this will sound weirder than it is, but Christopher G. Mohr is no stranger to harming male genitalia in movies.
Oh yeah.
Are you, sir? We'll explain that here in a hot second. But give us your first impression of porno. And
I
go ahead.
swear you were going to say no stranger to porno, but I.
Oh well.
No comment on that, sir. Sponsored by Pornhub.
But there is a knob goblin behind you, and
There is a knob goblin.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
figured
yeah.
that would
That's
have
right.
a
Nobby.
little phallic
Cool.
thing behind me. Yeah, I saw Alamo Draft House had like an online cinema thing where you could rent it back in the early part of this year when they shut down the theaters, and so in order to support Alamo, I rented it because I really wanted to see it, and I'd heard a lot of buzz about it playing at film festivals and stuff. There was at Fangoria that had the big picture of the mangled dick in the film. And so yeah, I mean, this film was right up my alley. And I say that from a lot of different perspectives. First of all, it feels very 80s, 90s. It takes place in the 90s, so it has that aspect of it. It has a little bit of Evil Dead. It has a little bit of Sorority Babes and Slime Bowl-O-Rama. It has a little bit of all those sort of like cheesy films. Back in that time, that's when you'd see a lot of the succubus type films. You know, they don't really make a lot of those anymore. So for me, I thought it was kind of cool to see that sort of resurgence in this film. A lot of the characters, that's why I'm wearing, my original Carmike Cinemas vest, is because, during the summers in the 90s, I actually worked in a movie theater. I managed a movie theater in a small town of North Carolina called Dunn, which is just one big rest stop. And the majority of the employees who worked there were Christian. And at that time, I was probably a little bit more religious than I am now. And who would get on me for watching R-rated films and that kind of stuff, or being into horror films. And so you'd see a lot of those type of characters who they're dealing with their own issues because of their faith, or they like rock music, but they're still trying to act like the Christian. And so there's always that sort of dichotomy with certain types of characters. And so I love that. So I enjoyed the hell out of this film, and it had one of the most uncomfortable scenes I've seen in a very long time, mainly because of the dick mangling, and which means a lot coming from someone that I was the dick mangling expert before Felissa Rose. Let me just say that much. Because my film Knob Goblins had a dick mangled. My film Gut Punch, actually the punch had the guy's mangled dick in it. So and I'm one of those filmmakers that sort of like I wanted to have more guys victims and that kind of thing, and I wanted to make people uncomfortable in the theater, and so I think this film does that in several parts because there's, I think if we want to rate it on mangled dicks, there's 2 mangled dicks. There's one dick you see on like the movie screen, and then there's one dick you see on the up close.
Another one gets set on fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. That's yeah.
One's chopped off
Chopped off. Yeah. So you have every kind of
by his own hands.
That's
And
true.
testicles are exploded.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Pop,
But-
pop.
And I think what I love about it, it's not one of those things where you just. It's not like I mean, this even goes further than things like Basic Instinct, where you just have a flash of somebody's genitalia. This one, the camera keeps going back
Like pushing it
to
He's like-
him.
he's trying to tourniquet.
Put his yeah, putting his which
Put a tourniquet
actually
on the exploded.
I really hope this doesn't spoil anything for anybody. But like my favorite line in the film is, "Do you think I'm going to be turned on by your exploded testicles? Do you think that's how being gay works?" That made me laugh so.
And then he's
hard.
like, I don't know. I think he says, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe,
And
I
so,
don't know.
and you have like the movie theater manager who's almost like Ned Flanders. You know,
Yes.
so
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. I like the fact that these aren't like, you know, these aren't like a lot of these films where, you know, sometimes you're just gonna sit there and scream, you know, and you also have them sort of whatever their anxieties, whatever their fears are, you know, she takes, you know, she goes after them. So I love that. It's like it's, you know, it has elements of The Ring, or I guess it'd be more of the mangled cock ring. I guess would be the better title for it. I'm sure they didn't want to go with that. It's kind of hard to market that on Amazon Prime or Shudder. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's entertaining. It doesn't really take itself too seriously. You know, you have interesting characters. I think the main issue that I have with it, they have like this sort of alternate world or whatever they go to, hell or whatever, it's kind of cheesy and it's got a lot of really bad CGI, and that's the only thing that kind of took me out of it. But the majority of the film I enjoy the characters, and maybe it's because I'm sort of closer to it because of, again, my perspective. I can understand how some people might not like it, but I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. It felt a little bit different because you don't really see those type of characters in horror films in general. And usually it's more of just a character or just a character trait as opposed to just all these different people dealing with different issues. And so I like that. I don't know. I really enjoyed it, you know? So I watched it for a second time and I enjoyed it just as much as the second time. So it's definitely one of my favorites that I've seen this year.
Ah, nice. Yeah, I'll keep my first impression short. What makes this movie great is the characters. What makes it memorable is the visuals. You won't forget what you've seen. But the characters are fun. They have really interesting interactions. You know, there's two best friends, and you follow them. You like them. The girl is the assistant manager, and she has the hots for this one guy, and then there's a relationship there that gets kind of exposed, and of course, Heavy Metal Jeff has his home thing going on, but you actually start liking these and characters. And even though it is silly and fun, it has that feel from the 80s and 90s when you started having these horror comedies, or some that weren't necessarily comedy, but maybe we laughed at them, like Demons might have a little bit in common with this. Yeah, I'm just going to stop there. I really enjoyed this. And it grossed me out at times. It was like that's kind of gruesome, just because of what they went all out. They did not shy away from it. Yeah, wow. And we've seen, like Jeff said, we've seen a lot, and this isn't the first time this year we've seen a penis burn. What was the other one that we saw?
Oh, it was the Yummy.
Yummy, yes. Oh
God, that was great.
Why do they have?
We saw exploding penis in the mortuary collection.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes, we did. Oh my gosh.
Fun times.
But do they focus on the penis for this length of time? It's
No
literally
way.
several
No.
minutes.
Actually,
No.
It keeps going back to it. I was like, okay, we got it.
I know.
it was
It's hanging
funnier
up in a bow.
every
It's like-
time because I was like, I was like okay, so there's the penis. That's actually still there. Okay, good. So it was just his balls. That's the only thing, right? But then it looked like just the way
He's like putting them
he
back
kept
in.
moving it around. He's trying to put the balls back in.
Yeah, yeah. Do I push it back in here? Do I just?
It
And
looked
then
so wet. It looked like
He ties it up
juicy.
with the.
he just kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I think by the end of it, it's like that guy needs to go to the hospital. That's not really a good way to tourniquet your balls. I'm sorry.
Well, the way he's walking at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, he's not. He's gonna be limping for the rest of his life.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I liked how he got so pale and blue at the rest of the movie. It was like, oh man! But there's a lot going on here. What is that called when they have the fake hair down there, Christopher?
Oh God, I forgot. Yeah.
I was thinking turducken, but that's not it. That's
No.
something
What is the name of that?
God, I forgot.
Yeah. There's a term for
you
it.
know what it is because you've come up with it before, but there's a fairly massive one in this movie.
Yeah, this one, it almost make it to where it looks fake on purpose to some degree.
Yeah,
so that's why it kind of feels like that.
Most definitely.
Well,
Most
because
definitely.
you couldn't see like anything through it. It was like just like fur.
Well, it's like
fur.
It was like a beef.
well, like I don't know, you know, like Return of the Living Dead, with the trash character. I don't know why I'm going into this conversation, but she had her own pubic hair or whatever, and they said, "Oh no, that's too much," and they made it shave off, and they're like, "Whoa, that's too much," and so then they had to place it with fake hair. So it's like
Are you guys talking about a merkin?
a merkin, yeah,
there you
that's
go.
the term. I knew it was some kind of weird phrasing.
that's-
Yeah, merkin, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty close to turducken.
That's
right?
my introduction.
If you're wearing a turducken, that's maybe
Ew.
that's,
Well, it
maybe
is Thanksgiving.
it's a Thanksgiving merkin. That's what it is.
Oh my god! I mean,
It's a merkin.
this movie's fairly straightforward. So I mean, it just basically they played this film. What's interesting, this crazy guy comes into the theater and breaks into the basement, and they find this film and they play it, and then it resurrects this succubus, and off it goes. And one thing is interesting, and you alluded to this, Crystal, is that there's posters in the hallways in this basement, and the posters are hilarious.
It's really
I think one or two of them are actually real posters.
Is
I
there a
think.
movie called 10-Foot Hole, 10-Foot Pole?
No, I don't think so.
I like
I'm not
that.
sure I want to
That's
watch
one of my
that.
favorites. And then they had was it Chesty McGee or what was her name? Chesty
Chesty Morgan
Morgan. That was it.
was a
I
real
was like,
person.
That is a real, yeah.
I thought so.
I didn't know.
I didn't know, but I thought so. She seemed legit. I was like, seems legit.
Oh man. I mean, okay, so it's really interesting because our characters they play heavy on the religious angle of it, and it's played as satire, but it's a really interesting
It's
take.
subtle at first.
Yeah,
that's why I wasn't sure. I was like,
Well, if you go back, it's really not as subtle because I think that the Christ bears the load has a whole new meaning
oh,
once you get in.
They pray before the start of the shift. I'm sorry, that's telling you pretty quick.
Yeah.
no, I guess because it's no, Hobby Lobby does that.
Do they?
Yep.
You have some businesses that, I mean, well, back in the day it was much more acceptable too than nowadays. But yeah, I mean, so but yeah, I mean, I think that's what I liked about it because it's not a normal situation you see in movies in general where you have people who are of a religious ilk and you have people with different facets,
You
and
want to smell like an ashtray when you get to the gates of heaven? I was like, oh, okay. Okay. The way he takes it and throws it, he's all so mad.
Well,
he's so angry.
he's always mad when they call him was it
Heavy
Heavy
Metal
Metal
Jeff?
Jeff? Because he says it's called hardcore. It's like I mean the funny thing is I was one of those people that I'd listen to like gospel gangster rap, and I used to listen to
boy,
Christian heavy metal. I mean,
Are
they
you
have,
A to the J? That's addicted to Jesus.
yeah. Well, there was one that's like put a cap in the devil. It's like really bad, really bad lyrics that don't really make a lot of sense. But I think having that background, that heavily, like, I grew up Southern Baptist, and so having that really religious background and the people that were in that, and working in a movie theater where a good number of the people were Christian, it made for an interesting movie experience, because like I could sort of relate to that, and also just people in general. When you have people that they're so high and mighty, a lot of times they have skeletons in the closet and that kind of thing.
That's why Jesus hated the Pharisees.
Yeah, but I mean, this film, I think, it we keep talking about how it's like very heavy 80s and 90s inspiration, and the lighting and stuff. There's a lot of heavy reds and blues and stuff.
It's pretty. See, yeah.
And we talked about Evil Dead 2. There's that part where she comes through the wall and is like constantly throwing up. It's very Sam Raimi-ish, which I love that. And I love the design of the woman who's like
goes on forever.
She's pretty much nude except for like black on her arms and then like the devil thing on her head and stuff. I love that's like one of my favorite scenes is that. When it comes to special effects, is this thing where she's just constantly.
That scream was so solid. It
funny.
almost I had to look for a minute to see if it was a tongue or what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I thought it was a creature. Yeah, like coming out, and then I was like, oh.
Also, I love that she has force powers to make your nuts explode.
Do you? Oh my God.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Let's see some Jedis do that.
Oh man,
Sith Lords.
But come on, the manager. Okay, I don't want to give anything away, but the manager
Does make you wonder why all Darth Vader ever did was squeeze her neck.
Maybe he was squeezing other parts at the same time.
Yeah, ooh.
Little chokey.
Yeah. Well, hey, some people like that. Yeah.
Choke me, Daddy
It's a
Vader.
thing. It's a thing. But
Choke me,
the
Daddy
manager too, with the camera in the bathroom.
yes.
Come
Oh,
on, that was hilarious.
It's like, where's
They're like,
where's
what
the
is
band?
going on?
Oh,
It's
and
like,
all
what's
the
going on here?
videotape.
Pure
Holy crap.
perversion.
yeah. And poor heavy metal Jeff was so
Was that
crushed.
pegging? Was that pegging, Christopher?
It looked a little pegging, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Little
Yeah.
little Satan pegging.
It was
Little
pegging.
succubus pegging.
Yeah.
I don't
The
have any
bathroom?
idea what you're saying.
I'm fine.
Go look it up.
What you just said.
Go look it up, Jeff.
I'm not going to tell you what I looked up to
You'll
find
be-
out
No,
what
stop.
the search term.
You'll
for.
be
You're listening to this. Do not look this up.
you'll be classic pegging Jeff after this. That's
Oh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this up before
Oh God.
YouTube.
Aren't
cuts
you
us
glad you
off.
invited me on this?
I knew this was going to be a fun one. All right, guys. What we're going to do now is we're going to give our final thoughts, our score, and our our favorite scene. That's going to be scary. All right, but before we do, if you are listening to this and having a good time, and I hope you are, hit the subscribe button down below. That'll help other people find us. Hit the like button. That will help as well. Hit the bell. Smash that bell, as they say, so you can get reminded of it. Yeah, just crush it with your force powers. If you when you watch this on Shudder, and we know you will, let us know what you think of the film down below.
I'm crushing your head.
I see pinch.
Pushing your head.
Exactly.
And I can't edit this. This is crazy. All right, let's start off. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let Chris go first.
Okay.
As our guest. So I know it's out of order what I did for minute, but that's
You're
what we're going
just
to do.
hoping there'd be less stuff for me.
Oh my gosh. All right, Chris, what is your final thoughts? Your score 1 to 5 and favorite. Oh God.
Well, and show the clip. No. We'll get further banned. I enjoy this. I mean, anybody knows I'm a huge fan of like 80s films and 80s and 90s films and that ilk. And so I think this feels like a film that came from that, and I think it's a different type of story with different type of characters we don't normally see in this kind of universe. And I think I'm kind of wondering if any of the people involved that wrote it, maybe they had, maybe it was based on their own childhood and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's a fun film that it has comedy elements. It definitely has a lot of gore elements that'll make you cringe, especially as a guy. And that's a good thing, you know. And I think they have a lot of fun with the stories and the characters. And then a really interesting villain. We don't get too many succubus type films these days, or incubus films, and so I think you know, we need more of these. And so I think it's really well done. I think the only misstep is the part where a few of the people get sucked into this sort of other, you know,
But then you
hell or
wouldn't
universe.
have the dance. Sorry, it's so good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's, you know, but then you have the really bad CGI where people explode in the street.
That was awesome. What are you talking about?
That was stupid.
It was bad, but it was
that was the only thing that I would make me give it a greatest score ever. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. I mean, because I love the characters. I cared about the characters. I cared about their situation they're in. There was a lot of funny quotes, and I love the villain. So, and let's add the villain played by Caitlin Pierce to my crush list.
I figured.
nice.
I
My
figured.
never-ending crush list. I hope she shows up on my house and crushes my nuts one day.
She's your Merkin
Oh,
mama.
yeah.
Sans.
Oh,
Yeah.
Merkin mama.
That's actually really good. That's
Let's
good.
give one to Doc. I like that.
Mhm,
My
yeah.
Merkin mama.
Mhm.
So as if I were to give a rating, I'd probably give it a 4.25 out of 5.
Nice.
I think I would have given it higher. I don't know, something about the rubbed me the wrong way with the, pardon the pun, rubbed me the wrong way when it comes to that whole getting sucked to the other
The
universe
portal?
thingy,
Yeah.
the portal, whatever, which opens up like a vagina. So they're
Yeah.
doing all kinds of phallic stuff. As for favorite scene,
Drum roll.
although I give them my honorable mention will probably be the dick mangling, but I don't know. I love it when she comes to the wall and vomits on the guy. I
Yes.
just love that scene. I think it's just because of my love for Sam Raimi stuff, and it feels very Sam Raimi-esque. And I just love that scene a lot. Just the visual representation of it with the flickering lights, which feels very like a projector light, and just the a lot of the special effects with that, the practical effects, I think worked really well in that scene. So I'll have to say that. Although I will say the dick mangling thing is the most uncomfortable thing I've seen in a very long time.
Yes,
So
it is.
well done. Because not that they didn't shy away from it, you know. Because even if like Mortuary Collection, you just see that exploding dick for a second. This one, it
Second.
keeps going back to it. It's like, hello, yeah, let's go back. Okay, we got it. So kudos to that. So yeah, I'll stop now so I don't embarrass myself anymore.
Crystal, you're up next. What is your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene? Or no?
So I loved it too. I totally think people should watch it, especially if you do like. It's not overly campy, but it is. It's very funny. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I was gonna say more, and I'm like, no, that's good. You got it. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Nice.
And yeah, I probably, if I watched it again, I'd like it even more. I think I would revisit that beginning because I wasn't. I wasn't sure what was coming, and it took me a minute to get into it. But I bet I would. I bet I would find it even funnier. And yeah, Christopher, the vomit scene. But there's a lot of good scenes. There's a simple scene that I might pick as my favorite. Heavy metal, little Jeff. There, no, just kidding. He has a bat, and when he tosses this bat, he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Let's go do this." And he tosses the bat, and no one catches it, and it falls.
Yeah.
I don't know why it just hit me so well. And then when he gets the bat back, he twirls it. So stupid. I loved it. Yeah, it's simple. It's simple. Yeah.
Sucker for a bat twirler. Huh?
Yeah, that is.
Well, just how he's like, "Yeah, we're totally gonna do this. All right,
Yeah,
guys." Okay.
He's giving the inspirational speech and nobody reacts.
Yeah, they're like, "Wah." All right, Jeff, you're up next, sir. What is your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene?
Well, I like this, except for the one thing I set out. I just don't like how they jumped up and down and screamed when it'd be one thing if they were shocked by what they saw, but when when they get up the gumption to run and save somebody, and they just stand there and jump up and down. I'm just like screaming at them, do something, do something. Anyway, that's me. So I'm going to give this a 3.5, and I'm taking it. I'm taking actually the tourniquet scene.
The tourniquet.
Because that was just funnier than hell. The way that guy was trying to put this back in there, that he's wrapping it around. When he gets to a point, and he just got to go sticks it up there. Anyway,
I mean,
I'm
he's got balls
I'm making
to
myself
even try to do it. Yeah,
It would, it's something you will never forget seeing. I enjoyed the hell out of this. I'm with Crystal. I wasn't sure at first. I was watching this going, I don't get the tone. This is really weird. The tone is a little shaky at first, but then once it gets into the succubus app run around, and our characters are gelled and we've established everything, it really kicks into gear, and it's a lot of fun. It's gory, it's silly, it's hilarious. The characters are good. All the actors are great in their parts. I really like this crew of people, and be interesting to see what they do next. It definitely has that low budget feel, but it really does a lot with its budget, even though, like Chris mentioned that, a couple times that the CGI is just a little under par, but it doesn't really matter. For me, it didn't take away from the tone or the comedy, or the film isn't scary, but it certainly doesn't shy away from trying to, I was going to say titulate, but that's probably the wrong word. So I'm going to give this a 4 as well. I want to give it more, but I do think that I probably watch this again.
See, I think if I watch it again, it's totally likely it's going to be on my top 10.
Yeah.
Although I did find a incorrect thing, because there's one part where they mention Madonna's sex book. Yes. And Encino Man came out in May of that year, 92. League of Their Own came out in June. Sex book came out in October. So the sex book wasn't even out yet.
Did you had to look that up. There's no way.
I did.
Because I was like,
close enough.
Close enough, yes, close enough. Maybe not in this universe, right? So.
Yes, in the cheesy CGI universe.
Say something about. There was something said about Encino Man, and I thought they talked about someone who totally wasn't in it, but I'm not sure. I have to watch it again.
Yeah, it's on Shudder, so you can watch it all you want.
Yay!
So there's a couple of scenes I could choose for my favorite scene. One of the ones that had me laughing pretty hard was the dance scene that you were talking about, Crystal. And it's just it's so funny, and then he's like, give me one more minute. Give me one more minute.
That's not good.
It's just, give me one more minute. I need one more minute. Oh my gosh. And it was just played for laughs. I also like when it was Todd. I think it was Todd, the redhead guy. It was tied to the thing as the virgin, and they were describing what they were going to do to him. He's like, why? Just his reaction to it was hilarious. But there's a lot to like about this movie. So is it going to be my top 10? Yeah, it's an honorable mention for sure. And our top 10s, by the way, are going to be coming in the next 4 weeks. Why did
I don't remember what I watched.
I know it's going to be.
There's so many movies I liked.
I know, and they're all VOD, right? They're all Shudder and VOD movies. Because what came out in the theaters, it was like
Invisible Man,
Invisible Man, Underwater, right? And then everything else is going to be VOD. So, and there was some winners. Oh
Color Out of Space.
I saw that. I saw that in the theater.
I did too.
Not me. No, but I did see it, and I did like it. It was good. Too. So, so where does this one fit? I don't know. And there's still more movies to come.
I know. There's so many good ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting year. I'm going off topic here, but just because of the whole global pandemic, we've been exposed to perhaps a different variety of movies this year that maybe we wouldn't have I don't know. It's kind of hard to judge, but it's like, wow.
Well, we certainly didn't get A Quiet Place 2 or Halloween, or I'm sure there's a whole nother
keep going,
pile of
right?
them I'm not thinking of. Yeah.
And then the ones we did finally get, were we able to actually see them? Sometimes the theaters weren't open yet. Other times we go. Crazy Times. And this is a crazy movie for those crazy times. So I'm hoping you go to Shudder and check it out. And when you do, not if you do, but when you do, and this is a Thanksgiving treat. So if you're in the States and you've got your turducken all said and done, and you're ready to chill out, put on porno and have a great family film. You'll learn things. You'll learn how to tie a tourniquet. Incorrect.
No, you won't. No,
But you will learn. All right.
Thanks for giving us drama.
Yeah.
Yes. So Christopher, thank you for joining us tonight and sharing this with
I'm
us.
so sorry.
Yeah.
No, this was great. I know
sorry.
you talked about
Glad you're
this
here, Chris.
earlier in the year. You told me you got to watch this. And I was like,
There's been a few people didn't like it, so I guess you just have to see it and make up your own opinion about it.
yeah.
It's worth watching.
It's definitely
Just stick through it, because it is a slow beginning. So just stick through it and watch it and tell us what you thought. So
yeah, it does rise to the occasion.
Oh boy.
Whatever you do, don't lose the keys.
Don't lose the keys. Yes. All right, Jeff, Crystal, thank you for joining me as well. With that, we better say goodnight.
good night. Good night.
Oh, God. Chestnuts roasting. We're just gonna
Oh my gosh. Goodbye.
It's
It's not
working.
me.